Hola, I'm Heidi and welcome to another episode of Womoneyty Talks. Okay, so eto yung last episode natin for this series which wherein we entitled Scams talaga. So pinag-usapan natin simula ng first Monday of the month and until now tungkol sa scams or yung mga investment instruments na feeling ng mga tao is scam-ish in nature. Okay, so nilinaw natin yon in the episodes that we had since the first week of February and I have met a lot I have ang guest natin dito sa episodes natin during the month of February are really my friends na nagpaliwanag sa atin kung ano yung mga online scams, kung ano yung mga scams sa cryptocurrency, and then of course yung mga misinterpretation about the VUL, making it look like a scam. And of course, we reserve the best for last because this this topic is really something else. Okay, parang ano lang din siya. Kumbaga, yung cryptocurrency kasi medyo bago pa siya, no? And nakakalito siya ngayon because bago pa. Pero nung wala pang cryptocurrency, at that time, ang pinaka sobrang nakakalito talaga is about the stock trading. Okay? And nakakatawa because a lot of people would feel that stock trading is really the way to go. Kasi ang daming nagsasabi na ang bilis kumita dyan. Tapos, halimbawa, mag-invest ka ngayon, the next day, pwedeng kumita ka na ng malaki. While some of those statements are correct for some people, it is not true sa mga ibang mga tao. In fact, there are studies that shows that 85% of the investing public lose in the stock market. And so ano nangyayari? 15% lang yung kumikita. Bakit ganun? Anong ginagawa ng 85%? O baka kasama na rin tayo doon. Kasi somehow in the past, I've also tried stock trading. Pero kasi via broker yung ginagawa ko. Ang ginawa ko lang, iniwan ko lang siya doon. Bahala na siya. So, is that right? Ano ba yung mas tama? Ano ba yung mas dapat gawin? Yun yung i-discuss natin ngayon. But before we go to that, I want first to discuss kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng stock trading. Okay? Or ano nga ba paano ba yung mga paraan para kumita tayo sa stock market? Okay? Let me just share with you that there are two ways on how we can accumulate earnings through the stock market. One is capital gains, and then number two is dividends. So let us start off first with capital gains, wherein we would always say that buy low, sell high. Ito yung mga tipo na halimbawa bibili ka ng stocks or shares from a blue chip company. For example, you're going to buy a share from Jollibee or SM, ganyan, di ba? Papasok ka ng mababa ang presyo, ibig sabihin, bibili ka habang mababa ang presyo, pero kapag ka tumaas na siya, tsaka mo ibebenta. Okay? To further illustrate, ganito siya. So for example, si Company A, on January 4, 2012, nung pumasok siya, ang cost per share lang is 10 pesos. Okay? So, depende kasi yan rin eh. So, for example, pag pumasok ka sa stock trading, there are minimum board lots na tinatawag. And then, kung magkano yung minimum board lots, yun lang yung pwede mong ipasok, yung minimum na pwede mong ipasok doon. So, kung 10 pesos per share at ang minimum board lot is 1,000, so 1,000 times 10, yun yung amount na pwede mong i-invest. For example, after 10 years, yung si Company A na yun, yung share na binili mo sa kanya is no longer 10 pesos at kumita na siya, naging 250 per share na siya. So ang laki nung nilip, 'di ba? From original 10 pesos to 250 pesos. Anong magiging itsura niyan? So for example, in January 4, 2012, nag-invest ka ng 100,000. Yung pera mo na hawak is 100,000. You were able to buy 10,000 shares with that 100,000. Okay? So, tandaan mo yon 10,000 shares noong 2012. But come January 4, 2022 yan. 2022, na naging 250 per share na siya. Yung 10,000 shares mo originally, times mo sa 250 pesos na yung cost niya ngayon, that's already 2.5 million. 'Di ba? Ang laki nga naman at kumikita ka nga naman talaga. Kahit pa-less mo dyan yung mga charges and commission and fees and commissions ng mga brokers, kumita ka pa rin. Rather than putting it in the bank, malaki pa rin yung kikitain ng pera mo at may laban pa rin siya sa stock market. Pero, yun nga, bakit may mga tao na hindi pa rin sila kumikita kahit na nagsa-stock trading pa rin sila. So, yun yung ating sasagutin ngayon with our guest. Sobrang happy talaga ako na naging guest ko siya. Parang, nag-align yung stars. Yes, nag-align yung stars. Because, nakakatuwa because, I just met him sa isang food community. And apparently, ang dami pa lang yun nga, nandito nga siya sa financial industry na to. And he is an expert in something that I really want to study further. Okay? May konting alam na ako sa stock trading, but to really be in deep analysis of this kind of investment instrument, yun yung strength naman niya because sobrang analytical, sobrang yung technical. Kaya, guys, hindi ko na ito patatagalin. I am so happy that he is here. I am so happy that he said yes. And ladies and gentlemen, ito na po siya. Mr. Bonner Dytoc. Tito Bonner, thank you so much for
Hello.
being here.
Ayun.
Ayan.
So, what do
Ayan.
you wanna know? Ang dami nating bubulgar dito ngayon.
Totoo. Grabe nakakatawa kasi ang pinag-uusapan namin ni Tito Bonner kanina, nung nagbe-briefing kami, para pala kaming, parang apparently pala, yung mga topics na pag-uusapan namin ngayon, ang mga isasagot niya ay parang mga inside chika about the stock trading. So sabi ko,
Ah,
marites pala tayo dito. At kinorek ako ni Tito Bonner, guys. Anong sinabi mo, Tito Bonner? Marites at ikaw ay si?
ang Martes para sa babae. Ang lalaki, tolits. Kasi,
Dahil
tol, itong latest.
tol itong latest, in fairness, ngayon ko lang narinig yung lalaking version. Naghahanap ako ng lalaking version niya. So, si Tolits, si Tito Bonner, siya ang ating magiging Tolits tonight at siya ang magsasabi sa atin kung ano yung mga inside scoop sa stock market at syempre mamaya pag-usapan din namin kung ano yung nangyayari ngayon sa Ukraine and sa Russia and how
Hmm.
it will affect yung ating stock market at yung kung paano makaka-apekto rin sa mga investors and mga stock traders na nag-i-invest sa stock market ngayon. Okay, but before we go to that, Tito Bonner, gusto ko muna ikaw tanongin. Syempre, I always do this sa lahat ng aking mga nagiging guest dito sa show. When was the earliest time na naiisip mo na nag-start sa iyo yung financial literacy? Kumbaga, anong, anong situation in your life that triggered you to really study about finance? And bakit of all the investment instrument, bakit stock market yung natipuhan mo?
Okay. Part 1 muna tayo. Haba ng question. Part 1. When? Uh, this was probably in 1994. Kasi sa totoo lang, prior to that, dinadala na ako ng father ko sa public gallery ng Makati Stock Exchange. Magkahiwalay pa yun, Makati and Manila. So, pagdating doon, parang parang style sa swimming, binato ka sa deep end, bahala ka paano kang mag-swimming dyan. So, ang nangyari, pinakita sa akin what happens in the trading floor. All I see, old style na, blackboard, mga naka-vest with their own symbols, takbuhan from their booth all the way to the blackboard, sinyasan, all that, and no one was explaining anything to me. So, syempre, makikita mo parang cartoon, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. At the end of the whole session, what the hell happened there? Wala akong naintindihan. So, wala, I didn't have any interest. Until 1994, when Petron had the real public offering. Naglagay pa siya ng full page ad. Those who want to avail, mag-fill up lang ng application form, but you can only avail up to 1,600 shares at 9 pesos of Petron at that time. So marami ako narinig na they want a lot but since they are limited to only 1,600 shares, gamit ng pangalan ito, pangalan. So maraming mga dummy names. In my case, my father said, we're all buying Petron. You have money, bumili ka. But based on my experience, sabi ko, wala nga akong naintindihan dun nung dinala mo ko sa public gallery. You expect me to put money into something I don't even know what's going on? Sigurado to. Okay. First pitfall. Sinabi, sigurado to. Walang sigurado sa market. Sinasabi ko sa'yo. Based on my experience, walang sigurado. Anyway. So, 1,600 daw. Ang sa akin is, okay, I know I can afford all that, but I don't even know what I'm doing. I'll only buy 1,000 shares. So, pinagsabihin, kaya mo 1,600 na. Sabi ko, kaya ko. Gusto ko, ito lang eh. Oh, so, ganon. On the first day of listing, rewind. On the first month after nag-offer, sa dyaryo, naglabas na ng headline, Petron IPO doubles in over-the-counter trading. Wala pang listing yon. So that meant 18 pesos na hindi pa siya nag-list. Pumasok agad sa utak ko, wala pang ginagawa, doble na pera ko. Okay to ah. Alright. First day of listing. Ang sabi sa akin, lahat ng tao nagbenta na in the house. They all sold at 21 pesos. Good for them. Dahil ako, kinagat na ako ng dumoble na yung pera ko eh. Let's see where this goes. Sinabihan ako.
So, nag-stay ka? Hindi ka muna nagbenta?
Yung hesitant, yun ang matigas ang ulo ngayon. Ba't di ka nagbenta? Sabi, bakit? Pera ito ah. Sabi, ako, ikaw talaga. Lahat kami, out na kami. Nanigor. Sige, nanigor kayo. Okay. 1 month later, eto na. I feel, pwede na siguro to. And the broker was my father. Sabi ko sa father ko, can you please post selling of Petron for me at 26.50? Ayun. Next thing I know, tapos. I'm out. Ayun na yun.
From 9 pesos, no? Naging that's how many months from public offering?
2
months, 'di ba? Ang laking kumita. So that was your
that's my
first
fire.
Exposure.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had no idea what I was doing
at that time. But you were already interested because in your mind, ang daling pera tas nagdoble agad in just a matter of weeks or in just a matter of 1 month, right?
Diretso natin usapan. I became interested kasi naging swapang na ako. Siyempre mo, 9 pesos, 26. Yeah. I mean, here we go. Here comes the money. Ayun. Kaya ayan na. Umpisa na. So, School of Hard Knocks. From there, lipat from Petron, try something else, kumita, try something else. Ayun. Until I tasted my first loss, ayun, ito na. School of Hard Knocks.
Doon ka na. Nung nasaktan ka na, doon ka na nag-isip na mag-aaral ka na muna.
Well, actually, I was already doing yung mga seminar. Pero those were so-called seminars. They weren't real seminars. Kasi sa totoo lang, what I remember, these seminars were still sponsored by brokers. In the end, they don't really teach you much. Except they give you the feeling, we'll let you know what's going on. But
you still need us.
Yes. So, magbukas ka na ng account sa amin. Ganun ang nangyari. The seminar was actually a marketing tool.
Yeah. Okay. Alam mo, Tito Bonner, bago natin ituloy yung kwento mo, no, isisingit ko lang sa Delek because there is a very fun fact, very fun fact about Tito Bonner. And one of those talaga is,
Nako.
super natutuwa talaga ako. Kasi alam niyo ba na nag-voice over siya at ang voice actor siya at isa sa pinaka sikat na voice actor niya or voice over niya is yung character sa Ghost Fighter na si Eugene.
Ito.
Paano ka naman napunta dyan?
I was looking for something to make money out of in the last few years of college. And then after the audition, ang sabi sa akin, in so many words, don't call us, we'll call you. So sabi ko, "Oh, wag na ako aasa, mukhang malabo to." But 2 weeks later, they called me in, not for the show I auditioned for, which was actually Voltes 5. They were looking for someone to
Oh,
take they were looking for the voice of Big Bird. Eh, wala, it wasn't deep enough. But they called me
okay.
in for another show, which was Master Rider Black. So doon ako
Okay.
nag-umpisa. So after that, saan napunta? May ano pa, meron pa Massman, meron Bioman, ano pa, ang dami-dami until umabot tayo dito kay Ghost Fighter. So,
Ang
diyan,
dami.
oh, ito at pang nangyari sa akin diyan. Hindi lang voice actor, for some time script writer din.
Yeah, at mamaya rin pag-uusapan natin kung ano pa yung mga creations na ginagawa mo lately, no? Okay,
Ay,
so before natin pag-usapan ng mga creations mo na ginagawa mo ngayon, let's go back to our topic. So kanina kasi Tito Bonner, ang sinabi ko is there are two ways on how you can earn from the stock market. And one is from capital gains and then the other one
mhm,
is from dividends, di ba?
yes.
And this is a very very basic question na I really wanted to ask for a very long time. And hindi na talaga ako nahiyang magtanong sa and I wanted to ask you live para at least baka meron din kasing gusto ring malaman, 'di ba? At
Mhm,
sabihin na natin kung ano yung sagot. So, kasi I asked you kung 'di ba may dividends nga na binibigay. And the dividends kasi is parang sobrang kita ng kumpanya and then they share it to the investors, 'di ba? So I
yes.
asked you, bakit pa nila share yung earnings nila? Why don't they just reinvest it para mas kumita yung mas kumita yung company tapos mas lumaki yung shares na makukuha ng mga investors in the future. And then you answered,
Okay, ito. Before I answer that, let me give a warning. I will call a spade a spade. Wala na akong paligoy-ligoy dito. Kundi, sayang ko oras eh. Now, bakit may dividends? Number one, that is supposed to be the profit of the company. So, um, sabi mo nga kung kumita ang company, why don't they just keep it for themselves, right? Now, sabi ni SEC, you are a publicly listed company, hindi mo pwedeng gawin yan. You have to give the remainder of the profits after. Siyempre, mauuna muna. Do you have any debts to pay? Do you have any capital expenditures that you plan to do, like yung mga acquisition, yung mga merger, whatever? No? If meron, and naubos yung pera doon, wala magagawa yung stockholder. That's for the benefit of the company. But after you pay off debts or whatever other expenditures, may natira pa, you are now compelled to give it to your stockholders. You owe it to them. So, how do you do it? Either ibigay mo as a cash dividend or stock dividend. Bahala na yung board what they decide. Normally, ito na, lalabas na yung angal ko. Normally, as cash dividend, barya ang binibigay sa atin lagi. By that, they normally, in terms of percent, they normally give out only 1% of the market price ng per share, no? Yan ang binibigay. So if say
mm,
piso ang halaga, 1 cent lang per share ang binibigay sa'yo. Barya. So
tama.
it's wala yung parang consuelo di bobo.
Tsaka
Eh
Tito
hindi
Bonner, alam mo yun, parang ang laki pa nung, di ba, naka-cheque pa yan?
yes. So
Nakaka-receive
minsan
kasi ako ng
lalabas,
dividend check eh.
oh, minsan lalabas mas mahal pa yung cheque mo kaysa yung halaga eh.
Exactly. Totoo yun. Totoo yun.
Oh. Now, as stock dividend, it's up to them. Can they afford to give out more shares? Only they can say. In the last few years, there's a new kind of dividend. They call it property dividend. So, in my experience, a property dividend was depending on how many shares you have of this mother company, you will be given X numbers of shares of this other company na related to them. Pwedeng ganun. But definitely, a dividend is it's profit sharing.
Okay. So, tama ba, Tito Bonner, so may ceiling yung profit ng company. Kasi in excess, you have to give it to the investors.
It's up to it's really up to the board how do they give it out. This will they limit yung I don't really know, but
Okay.
one thing is sure, if they have excess funds, hindi nila pwedeng itago yun. This is what
Okay.
happened with the publicly listed company years back. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna say who, mamaya kasuhan pa tayo.
Yung
But
pagka-tolits mo, baka
yari ako, baka mamaya rehas ang hinihimas ko. But this publicly listed company, you can try to Google this. They were told off by the SEC. Hindi nyo pwedeng hawakan lang yan. You have to give the profits to your stockholders. So, nadyari yun. Napagsabihan sila.
okay, so at least now we know dun sa side ng dividends, no? Okay. Kasi for some people who would be interested to go to the stock market, kasi sobra naman talagang appealing eh. Tsaka ang laki naman talaga ng kitaan kung basta marunong ka, di ba? Pero how would you, if you were to advise those people who would want to go to the stock market, how do we prepare ourselves before we start trading in the stock market? And then when can we say that we are ready to invest in the stock market?
Number one, most important first step, educate yourself. Marami kasi dyan, since time immemorial, siguro hindi pa nga ako pinanganak, meron na yan. They will hear of their friends who made money, who was able to buy a car, who was able to buy a house, who was able to go abroad, and whatever. Kung ano nung mga bago meron dyan. How did they do it? Stocks. That's all they know. So, siyempre, etong nakarinig, etong marites o tolits na, uy, kumita, paano? Stocks. O sige, salihin tayo. So they do the same thing. They open up an account with the broker. They put their money in. Guess what? They did not follow the first rule. Educate yourself. Anong ginawa?
Mm-hmm.
Nakinig sa chismis. Ilagay daw dito. Nilagay doon. Next thing you know, ipit. They
Mm-mm.
cannot, they cannot, they cannot move kasi lugi on paper. So,
Mm-mm.
instead of them getting encouraged to trade more, now they see, ay, parang naloko ata ako dun ah. Naipit na yung pera ko
Mm-hmm.
eh.
It will really boil down to educating yourself. Do you believe in following your risk profile, Tito Bonner, or your risk appetite?
It now depends. Kasi there are a lot of different traders. There are some who cannot afford to see all the action in the market. So, hindi niya kaya yung everyday, starting at 9 o'clock, nakabukas na yung monitor, nakikita lahat ng nangyari all the way until closing time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what they do, they just, quote-unquote, park their money there.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos, whatever their basis is, maybe it's because of the financial statement or the reputation of the company. Sige, general natin ipara yan. Tapos, we'll just
Mm-mm.
get back to it after how many months, how many years, whatever. Eh, ang nangyari dyan, matutulog yung pera mo dyan.
Oo.
Good if laging umaakyat yung stock. I cannot say that happens all the time. Even blue chips don't do that all the time. Then there are also what we call momentum traders. In the vernacular, sa Tagalog, ang tawag sa kanila, mga chupitero. Ito yung mga buy today, sell today, basta kumita, okay na yan. Kumita 5%, 10%, okay na yan, out na. So, there are two kinds.
Because yun nga, di ba sabi nila, there are two kinds nga daw talaga actually two kinds of investors.
Mm-hmm.
One is, sorry, in the stock market, there are two personas. One is an investor and the other one is a trader, di ba? So the
Yes,
trader is really, really more on the short term, wherein yung mga, that includes yung mga chupeteros, yung sabi mo, di ba?
yes.
And then when you are an investor naman, it's really more of a long-term goal naman for you. So, kasi kaya ako natanong you regarding doon sa risk appetite because some people kasi would not go to stock market because their risk appetite is parang moderate sila or talagang gusto nila to no risk at all. Parang
Mm-hmm.
ganon. And for some people who are also hindi sila masyadong risk averse pero gusto nilang kumita ng malaki, yun yung mga nagte-trade talaga sa stock market. At yun yung mga
Yes.
napapaso, 'di ba? Most of them sila talaga yung napapaso. Well, apart from educating yourself, how do people know that ready na sila doon sa mga ganong klaseng bagay?
Well, before we get to that, you mentioned kasi that there are some people who are not really that risk averse. So, laging naghahanap ng so-called sigurado.
Mm,
So, they don't do the stock trading themselves. Guess where they
mm.
go? Mutual funds.
Broker. Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah. Okay.
necessarily, no. But some brokers have that, some don't. But they go to mutual
Mm,
funds.
mm,
Ang problema, hindi natin alam based on this fund. Ito ang normal yield niya. Saan ba niya nilalagay ang pera? Hindi ko alam. Basta nandyan.
mm, mm,
Those who don't go to these brokers or other mutual funds, they put it in the bank na meron yung tawag na UITF, which is also the same thing
yeah.
as mutual fund. But if I
Iba
remember
lang yung
correctly,
nagma-manage.
oh, if I remember correctly, I remember going to my bank before, I'm not going to say who, nakita ko ang UITF na yield niya during 2008, and 2008 was a bad year, was already down. Yield niya was negative 80%. So, ano pa ang papasok sa utak ko at that time? Negative 80. Ito, ano nangyari dito? Yung fund manager, hindi nagka-cut loss. Nalugi na, hindi nagbebenta, hinahayaan niya bumagsak. So, paano yun? Diba? We don't know what what is being told to them na they can
Mm,
only buy, they cannot cut, paano yun? I really don't know what goes on there. So going
yeah,
back to
yeah.
your question, how would they know if they're ready? Pwede ba akong magkwento with regards to how I teach other people?
Yes, please.
Okay. With what I do, syempre I have to teach them first how do I do things that is different from what we know based on uh, what we learned in college, what we know from other people. This is what they call fundamental analysis, wherein you have to take a look at the income statement, find out sino yung mga directors, ano ang projects, magkano kikitain, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Ang dami yan. What I do, I learned kasi I started with that and I found out the batting average was around 40%. Yan ang standard. You use fundamentals, batting average 40%. Okay. Went to these seminars to learn something else called technical analysis. So what's technical analysis naman? This is the study of charts. Or sorry, this is the study of price movements using charts para I will get to know in the near future saan pupunta ito. Which actually it's kind of wordy. Ang simpleng usapan dyan, titingnan ko lang ang galaw ng presyo, I will have an idea where it's going to go, how far it's going to go. Yan ang pinakasimpleng
And
definition
you
ko.
will just Correct. And you will just be able to parang magagamay mo lang talaga siya if you are already parang used to it eh. Parang kasi ikaw, like any other ano naman, like any other occupation na ginagawa natin. Kung araw-araw natin siya ginagawa, unang tingin pa lang natin, alam na natin kung ano yung problema, kung ano yung
Mhm.
kahihinatnan, 'di ba? Yung mga ganun.
Yes.
Same goes with stock trading because if you're always looking at the charts, somehow you would have a hint if something happened there, tapos, alam mo yun, something far from the normal that you always see
Yes.
every day, parang gano'n. Okay. So, eto, isa rin kasi sa pinaka-concern ng mga tao ngayon, lalo na yung mga, actually both eh, di ba? Yung mga bagong magsa-stock trading and yung mga
Mhm.
seasoned na nagsa-stock trading is the thing that is happening in Russia and Ukraine. So, while some people kasi would say that we're so far from Ukraine naman and Russia, hindi naman tayo kasali dyan. Pero hindi, that's really not the thing because Russia and Ukraine kasi is really superpowers in terms of resources, yung mga oil, di ba, yung mga
Correct.
natural resources na
Correct.
ini-import din nila and sila yung nagsusupply sa buong mundo, di ba? So,
Yes.
somehow we feel that this is really something that will affect us drastically, especially sa ating economy. So, can you further explain on that one?
Simplest terms. I'm not going to talk about the geopolitical situation masyadong masalimuot yan. How does this war affect us economically? Number one, price of oil is already affected for the last month. 1 month ago, naririnig na natin, Russian troops were already being positioned at the border of Ukraine. So, medyo nanginginig na yung mga tao, uy, baka may mangyari dyan. So, because of that, people started stocking up on oil. Bili silang bili. Kaya yung presyo ng oil before was, I think, around $60-70 per barrel. Umakyat. The highest, most recent was around 107 or so. So, ang laki ng inakyat. And that's why, locally, yung mga ibang tao, kamot lang ng ulo na, ano ba yan? Every week, akyat na akyat yung gas, yung diesel, is always piso, 2 piso, ganun. Ang laki ng inaakyat. What's going on? If you are always too focused on the local, you have no idea what's happening outside. That's why we are being affected here. Oil is one.
Totoo yun.
Now, what happened? That became the reason why oil kept on going up. I found out that there was a pipeline from Russia all the way to Germany. Ito yung
Yeah.
tinatawag nilang Nord Stream 2.
Mm.
This was supposed to be a big project and supposed to supply a sizable amount of gas to Germany. It was
Mm.
still waiting certification. So, kumbaga, nag-aantay siya ng go signal para tumuloy na yung negosyo.
To operate.
Yes. Around a day or two before lumusob yung Russia, sabi ni Germany, hindi ko natutuloy ito kasi may binabala ka eh.
Correct.
Now,
Mm.
ang ginawa ni Russia, ganun, ayaw niya, sugod. So now they went in, they attacked Kiev with missile strikes, they went in with tanks and all that. Last I heard, they were being repelled. Now,
Mm.
what's the downside? I found out that Europe gets 41% of their gas requirements from Russia. Russia can afford to turn off the gas pipeline or the supply to uh, Europe for 2 years and they will not feel a dent, but Europe
Mm.
will. So malaking bagay yan. And if Europe feels it, it will spread all over. Malaking bagay yun. You can expect gas prices to keep on going up if that happens. What's the other thing? Um, I also learned 7% of the nickel requirements in the world come from Russia.
Mm.
If sanctions come in and they're not allowed to export and all that, yung presyo naman ng nickel umaakyat.
Mm.
So, saan ka kukuha ngayon? Guess what? We supply 80% of the world's requirement. So, maybe tayo, makikinabang tayo dyan because we can
Mm.
export. But the thing is, we sell
Are
it
we
cheap.
ready? Oh,
We
but we're
should be.
ready.
Well, we've been exporting. The thing is, we've been
Mm.
exporting in the raw format. Hindi natin ginagawa na ano pa natin to, ipo-process natin to para yung mabibenta natin can be sold at a higher price.
Mm.
What we keep selling is the raw or na mura lang ang nabibenta. So,
Okay.
as far as nickel is concerned, saan ba natin ginagamit yan? Your batteries need nickel.
Mm.
Your utensils, yung spoon, fork, lahat yan. Stainless yan. May nickel yan. Ginagamit din dyan. So, at the very least, these are the most basic na kailangan ng mga tao around the world.
Sana, no? Because somehow, it will also uplift our economy naman. Kasi, parang mababalanse niya kung meron tayong problema sa oil, at least meron naman tayong bawi sa nickel naman on the other hand, di ba? Pwede naman ganun.
Yes, but I also wish na sana meron din tayong processing plant for that para hindi naman mura lang ang benta, mas mataas sana. Kasi in the
Mm.
return, kahit kahit ayaw mong aminin, there are taxes that can be taken from that
Mm.
where the government, actually malaki ang tax na pwede niyang kunin from the mining industry na pwede niyang
Mm.
gamitin for whatever projects na kailangan gawin. I'm not just
Mm.
talking about this government, I'm talking about future governments pa.
Mm. But to develop kasi or to build those machineries or to even build those plants that would process those nickel, hindi naman siya magagawa rin right away, di ba? So at least at the very least ang pwede natin talaga ma-provide or raw materials pa lang sa ngayon, no?
Yes, pero the thing is dapat dati pa pinagplanuhan na ng mga listed companies.
Mhm.
To my knowledge, only one is in they have plans of already doing it, but I cannot
Mm.
say who it is.
Ayan na naman tayo. Okay,
I'm not at
kasi 'di
liberty
ba,
to say.
okay, sige. Sige, akala ko pa naman todo ang tolits mo ngayong gabi. Pero it's okay
Teka,
for your safety.
pagtapos ng show, sige, tsaka ko na ikwento.
Di mo po okay. Kasi some of the people din kasi would say na hindi naman tayo maapektuhan because we're getting oil from China. But China as well is getting oil from Russia also. So, apektado talaga tayo, guys. Is
I
that it?
I don't know if we get oil from China. I know we get oil from Singapore.
Mm.
So
I think,
yun
mm,
wherever we get it, the fact is umaakyat ang presyo. So we're
mm,
really going to feel it. And alam nyo na, pag umakyat ang gasolina, aakyat ang basic goods, aakyat ito, aakyat yan. It's a vicious cycle. Darating ang point, hihingi na naman ang mga labor groups, kailangan iakyat ang sahod. It's a vicious
at
cycle.
pamasahe din, no?
Lahat.
Mm, mm, mm. At pati yung mga inaangkat talaga ng mga food ingredients, 'di ba, from
Yes.
the
So,
provinces to here.
oo.
Everything will be affected. Tito Bonner, I am so amazed with the knowledge that you have. Paano I know this is parang it will take years para maging ikaw. Alam mo 'yon? Pero for some people na for some people na who are still starting in the stock trading, paano 'yan? Paano mo binild yung habit on that one?
Well, number one, you really have to have interest in this industry. By that,
Mm.
I'm talking about the stock market as a whole. So,
Mhm.
kailangan interesado ka. Kasi kung ang balak mo lang is just kumita, there are so many ways na pwede kang kumita eh. pwedeng negosyo, pwedeng lagay mo lang sa bangko. But then again, the bank only gives you so much, so sayang ang oras mo dun. But for stock market trading itself, you need to not only be interested in it, you need to learn the ins and outs of what happens during trading hours. Maraming nangyayari na you have to be prepared. Hindi pwedeng yung napaka-naive natin na basta bumili ka lang, you expect it to go up and that happens. That doesn't happen that way. Kailangan pinag-aaralan yan. Now, whether you study it by looking at the income statement, you look at the news, or you do it the way I do it, which is I look at the charts. And based on my experience, the charts don't lie to me. So kung ano nandyan, mahirap dayain yan. So, kaya dyan ako mas ano, at saka ito mas maganda. Kanina I mentioned if I do fundamental analysis, the batting average was around 40%, which is the
40%.
standard there. When I learned technical analysis, it immediately jumped to around 80-85%.
Grabe naman. So, ang
No joke.
yaman-yaman mo na ngayon, Tito Bonner. Dahil sa
Sa
stock trading na
knowledge.
yan.
Okay, mayaman sa knowledge.
At marami ka na rin power ngayon. So,
Pa,
teka lang, Tito Bonner. Babalik lang kasi sobrang talaga ako interesado eh. And as I said kasi 'di ba, I've already started din naman actually a long time ago. Pero since hindi ko nga siguro interest pa nung that time, pumasok lang ako sa online broker and then I just place my money there and then mga magagandang kumpanya yung pinili ko. So far so good, 'di ba? Pero hindi ako kasi yung katulad nga nung iba na matingin sa charts, hindi ako yung katulad ng iba na bili, benta, gabi. Hindi ako gano'n eh. I would normally look at charts kapag halimbawa may mga significant events. So for example,
hmm?
parating yung COVID, tapos that time I was really looking at the charts because I have clients kasi who are invested naman in our VUL funds which are also invested in the stock market, 'di ba?
Yes.
And ngayon yun ang nangyayari sa Ukraine and sa Russia, so I would do also my research. So those are the only times pagka may mga significant events na nangyayari that I go do my research, parang gano'n. Pero ikaw kasi, this is something na talagang you dedicated your life already in studying. When you
It's
were starting, yeah, when you were
it's not my
starting,
this is not my day job. It used to be. Now it's more of a
mhm.
sideline, which actually takes up a lot of my time rather than my day job.
But your day job is your business, 'di ba? Tama
No,
ba?
no,
Or there's
no. My
another business
business
pa?
is also my sideline. That one I plan to be my retirement
Again,
plan.
again.
My day job is I work for a marble and granite company.
Oh, okay.
But at the same time, I mean, I'm thankful for the bosses for allowing me to do this during office hours,
Office
which is,
hours.
oh, yan mo talaga oras ng market eh. 9 to 1. Right now, bukas maging 9 to 3. So,
Mm.
I'm able to monitor what's happening at the same time doing my job. So, yan ang importante. I don't just let my day job be as is. Hindi. Sabay ang dalawa. Ito yung totoong multitasking.
So, ang pag-unlad ng buhay ay depende sa boss talaga na hahayaan kang gumawa ng stock trading during office hours.
Basta supportive ang boss, ayos yan.
'Di ba? 'Di ba? So, okay, bilang nabanggit mo yan, Tito Bonner, I'm sure we have viewers who are currently employed and then who would want to go to the stock market. How will they be able to juggle? Kasi ikaw, when you started naman your corporate day job, um, may experience ka na because broker ka before eh. But for some
Yes.
people who are ordinary lang, na wala naman talagang background of any sort, tapos gusto nilang pagsabayin yung employment and yung stock trading nila, what can you tell them?
Definitely don't give up your day job. Mahirap na yun. But
Kasi yun yung papondo nila. Yung
oo,
sweldo.
kasi mahirap na. Mamaya biglang nawala yung papondo mo. Sorry, hindi kita matulungan ng basta-basta diyan. Okay, just keep your day job unless you have something else more interesting that can support you. But you really need to have interest in the stock market. Kung ang balak mo lang is basta lang kumita, walang sigurado dyan. You cannot leave your money in stocks na akala mo parang bangko na may interest.
Mhm.
It's not like that. There is a chance that you can lose money. May mga iba tao, iniwan lang dyan. Pag tingin nila, pulang-pula na yung portfolio, patay.
Mhm.
What happened? There are probably a lot of different reasons why their money went down. One of them, I know very popular ang mga stock market groups lalo na sa Facebook. And many of them have their own gurus. Normally, kung sino guru, siya yung admin. From what I've seen, etong mga guru, they will tell you what to buy. Ito ang kwento, ito ang prospect, blah, blah, blah. Ang ganda ng kwento. So you will be convinced to put money in that stock. Bibili ka naman. They don't tell you when to sell. They don't tell you if things so happen to turn around, this is your plan B or plan C. Walang ganun. They just tell you, buy this. Why? No one ever thought, bakit ko bibilhin ang nire-recommend sa akin ng taong hindi ko kilala personally. I just know him by name.
Mhm.
So bakit ko bibilhin? All because he's a guru. So ang nangyari dyan, monkey see, monkey do.
Mhm.
Sinabi niya, di bili ka. So ito yung tinatawag nating Dow theory. Dow as in D-A-W. Sabi
DA.
niya, buy daw. Di buy
Daw.
tayo.
Ano ba?
Yun yung,
In-spell ko ba na D-A-W? Daw.
buy daw.
Okay, okay.
Di sige, buy. And then what happens? Some people, they were able to make money. Good. Some, sorry, not some, a lot, coming late. Laging may late. They get to buy at the worst time of all, kung kailan mataas na, tsaka pa rin bumibili. And then what
Mhm.
happens? Bumaba na. Now, they put in messages in that group. Sabi nyo, bumili nito. Bumili ako. Ngayon, bumaba. Ngayon, anong gagawin ko? So now, they're putting the blame on the guru. I'm not defending the guru,
Mhm.
but ito ang case lagi ng mga people who put money in the market who don't
Mhm.
want to do their own research.
Correct.
Ayaw mag-aral. By that, I mean, they keep looking for free stuff. Yes, there are
Mhm.
free stuff online. You have free books, you have tutorials, so on and so forth. But I'm telling you now, hindi siya nagbubukat ng sariling bangko. The best teacher is someone who will teach you the way it should be done.
Mhm.
Not yung nakikinig ka lang sa sinabi ng ibang tao tapos sumunod ka lang. You're not gonna make money all the time that way. So, it's always the blame game. Mahilig yung mga Pinoy sa ganyan. Pagka nalugi ako, sisihin ko to.
Mhm.
Which is wrong. That's a wrong attitude. Dapat you should know how to protect yourself in case things go wrong. What do I do? And remember, it is a stock market. You are essentially you are in a war with everyone else. Kahit kaibigan mo yung nandyan, you don't know kung you're buying his shares or he's buying your shares.
Mhm.
Magkalabag kayo lahat yan. Hindi mo alam. So you need to protect yourself. You need to educate yourself. And that is one way of how you can protect yourself.
Great, great, great. And kanina nga sinabi mo na may bayad. Eto, Tito Borner, nandito na tayo sa last 5 minutes ng ating program. Napakabilis ng oras, di
Ang
ba? At
bilis
ang
ng
dami na
oras.
talaga natin na pag-usapan. Di ba? Sobrang dami na natin na pag-usapan and sobrang dami ko ring natutunan sa'yo regarding all of this, no? And right now, ang dami mo na kasing advices na nasabi rin sa amin. And right now, what I just want you to share is the program that you have para doon sa mga tao na talagang gustong seryosohin na to. Itong nangyayari na to. Tito Bonner, eto, tingnan natin. Ay, talagang yun yung nauna,
Oy,
no? Pero
parang ano
i-promote muna natin. Ay, i-promote muna
Oh,
natin. Ito
sige.
ang business si Tito Bonner. Ayan, sige, bago yung isang
Yeah.
sinasabi natin. Ayan, Tito Bonner, i-promote muna natin itong isa na to.
Ito, Jack Frost. This is my retirement plan sana. Sana. Who else better to make a testimonial out of this except for Tita Heidi? Kasi natikman niya na. So,
Basil, guys, it's so
yan.
kakaiba pero masarap siya eh. Masarap siya. Kumagat
Ayan.
labi tayo doon, guys. Kaya ano yan.
Mhm. Hindi,
Panalo
yung
yan. Panalo yan.
nakita mo, pagka-post niya, meron pang kindat. Alam ko na, masarap yan.
Okay,
But
Tito
I've
Bonner.
been doing this for, gosh, how many years? 15 years? Mga
Ang
2008
tagal
ako
na rin.
nag-start yan. Yeah. And
Sa bahay nyo lang to ginagawa?
yes, ang ano dyan, it was my wife who started the whole thing. Why?
Mm.
She had a pastry business. Bumili siya ng panibagong kitchen aid. I went home one time, sabi sa akin, tikman mo to. Sabi ko, ano to? Ice cream. Uy, sarap ah. Talo ang mga nasa grocery. Oh, teka, paano ka gumawa? Eto, may bago akong attachment na bowl sa kitchen aid. Ano yan? Libre? Oh, libre. Magkano ginastos mo? 20,000. Kumasok ka 20,000 para lang dyan? No, but seriously, because of that, napaisip na ako, pwede maging negosyo. Nagbilang na ako. I cannot compete with the commercial type kasi pamurahan doon eh. Tsaka iba yung
Correct.
quality with yung sariling gawa.
Yes.
Butin lang, there is a niche market for artisan ice cream. So, sinubukan natin.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what it's called, artisan ice cream. Kasi hindi siya katulad talaga guys ng mga ibang ice cream. Because you would normally see mga cheese flavor, kasi yun yung go-to ice cream ng mga anak ko, cheese flavor, chocolate, and basta anything na ice cream na maiisip mo, no? Yun talaga yung top of mind. But when you go to Tito Bonner's Jack Frost Premium Ice Cream, you would see very extraordinary flavors na meron talaga sila. Even puro taba ng talangka. Oh my gosh, as in. Sobrang hello uncle. Sino to? Peter
hi,
Sonchan.
Peter.
Hello.
Yeah, dito si
Ayan.
Peter. Ito, masarap yung roast pork at saka roast chicken yan.
Oh, wow. Titikman din natin yan sa susunod. Ayan, so,
Yan.
as I was saying, yung mga ice cream talaga Tito Bonner, mga hindi mo talaga makikita sa iba. And yung mga flavors, kasi even ngayon, puro taba ng talangka, and then meron pa siya, yung in-order ko sa kanya, basil. Weird siya, pero pagka tinikman mo kasi, ma-appreciate mo siya because it's really extraordinary. That's how I would describe it. It's extraordinary. So, it's really worth trying. Kasi pag na-try mo siya, para ka lang yung saan ba yung sa, Bacolod ba yan, Tito Bonner? Yung mga sili ice cream. Meron ako pinuntahan na, na province. And then, ang specialty nila is that sili ice cream, as in yung labuyo ice cream. And nung time kasi na tinikman ko yun, nawiwirdohan din ako doon, pero natikman ko siya, nasarapan din ako. So, yung level ng mga ice cream dito, Bonner, yung tipong pag-iisipan mo ko itatry mo, pero once na matry mo siya, mauubos mo siya, guys. Promise. Walang
Pero
halong etchos yan. Sobrang,
di ko sinama sa menu yun. Meron din ako, chocolate chili.
ayan, may ganong flavor. I think that's the flavor that I also tasted dun sa province nga na yun. Kasi nga, nilalagyan nila ng sili. So, malamig, tapos may kick ng anghan sa lalamunan. Ganun yung effect niya. So,
Ganun.
yan. So, if ever you wanna try artisan ice cream, punta lang po kayo doon sa Facebook page ni Tito Bonner sa Jack Frost Premium Ice Cream and you will see all the flavors that are available. Pwede nyo sila i-message doon and bili kayo. Now, eto na. Ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina, Tito Bonner, na you really have to study and hindi pwede yung, yes, makakakuha ka ng mga mga turo sa website, 'di ba? But the problem is hindi yung in-depth analysis, hindi mo yan talaga matututunan kung hindi ka immersed doon sa program na yan. So, can you talk about this, can you talk about this program that we have
Yes,
coming up?
actually, I've been teaching itong seminar on technical analysis for how many years na ba? I think since 2005, together with my business partner from before, but now solo ako na lang tuturo ngayon, no? This is for people who are very serious in the stock market. Actually, this is not only for stock market. Once you learn this, mabilis yung transition mo into other markets. It's applicable for stock market, uh, forex, bonds, cryptocurrency, name it. Basta anything in the financial world that has a chart, pwede to. Kaya ako, I've already experienced, I've traded local stocks, I traded US stocks, I've looked at how gold was doing before and how it's doing now. I've seen how oil is doing. Some people were asking me about paano itong itong galaw ni itong forex whatever currency na yun. I give them my advice, tumama naman. Cryptocurrency, same thing. Like right now with Bitcoin, I saw something bad about it. I think it's gonna go down. Bahala na kayo. I'm not saying how low it's going to go, but it's gonna go down. So
Guys, tsaka
yeah,
very, very, very credible si Tito Bonner because lagi siyang ini-invite talaga ng ANC to discuss all of these things para malaman natin kung ano yung mga nangyayari sa paligid and how it will affect our economy and the stock market itself. Tito Bonner, sobrang sobrang galing. Excited na ako dito. Feeling ko mapapa-enroll na talaga ako. This is it.
ako ang ako ang papatanong sa'yo eh. Feeling ko kulang eh. You want a part 2 for this?
Oh my gosh, of course, Tito Bonner, grabe. Eto, nahahabol ako ng last question, Tito Bonner. Bigla ko kasi siyang naisip. And for the benefit also of our viewers. I'm sure there's something in the past that somehow it resembles what's happening to us right now. 'Di ba? The Ukraine and the Russia thing.
There
During
was
that there was, right? During
Iraq.
that time, what was the how was the economy and how did it propel to its normal state?
Well, during the Iraq War, hindi ganitong kasama eh.
Mm.
Kasi ngayon it's like a confluence of different factors. Eh. You have your Ukraine war here. Then you also have COVID. So parang pinagsama yung dalawa ngayon. Buti ka mo, medyo umu-okay na yung sa COVID situation. If sumingit
Yeah.
naman si Ukraine ngayon. So yung supposed na momentum natin in our local market to go up, medyo, teka muna, mamaya na, ganun nang mangyari. So now we're waiting for clearer signs to see if there is a chance for us to go up again or we're still going to stay in the same levels for the past 2 months.
Oh my gosh, sana talaga maging maayos na, no? We are really
Yeah.
all praying for whatever it is that is happening in Russia and Ukraine, and sana talaga wag na masyadong dumami kasi kanina sa news nasa 300 na daw yung namatay. So, and then lumilikas na rin yung mga tao from Ukraine. Yung mga kids nahihiwalay na sila doon sa parents nila simply because yung mga parents they wanted to stay to help the government fight this fight, parang ganon, while the kids naman are being taken off and pinatatawid sila ng border to be safe lang din. So we are really praying for better results. I hope that magkaroon talaga ng peace talks regarding this one para at least kahit paano umayos na naman yung sitwasyon ng mga tao dahil ang dami na naapektuhan. And of course, not just in that part of Europe but all over the world because as we said, we are all affected because of what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. Tito Bonner, super thank you. Ang dami
Thank
ko
you,
talaga
Heidi.
natutunan. Grabe, sana nag-enjoy ka kasi nag-enjoy talaga ako at sobrang na-happy talaga ako kasi pagka meron ako mga bagong naririnig na makaalaman, hindi ko alam, parang ang saya-saya ng pakiramdam ko talaga. Hindi na natin namamalayan, nag-isang oras na tayo.
Ano ba nangyari? Para tayong chismisan lang dito eh.
Nagchismisan lang tayo. Sobrang thank you, Tito Bonner. And sana wag ka po magsawa. If ever I would invite you in the future again for this kinds of talks. And of course, in the future, I will also be asking for your mentorship. Yes! regarding stock trading, kasi sobrang
Ah,
gusto ko talaga siyang i-try talaga at seryosohin
ah,
na.
pag-usapan natin after the show.
Sige. Thank you, Tito Bonner. And of course, that ends our episode for tonight, guys. Sana sobra kayong nag-enjoy at sana may mga natutunan kayo sa mga pinag-usapan namin ni Tito Bonner. Of course, if you want to kung team replay kayo and you want to watch the previous episodes of Womoneyty Talks regarding all the scams that we have talked about, all the scams we have talked about, of course, meron mga scams kasi na hindi naman talaga totoo, like the VUL and the cryptocurrency and of course, stock trading. I hope that you will go to my page and I will also be uploading the videos in my YouTube account. So, you can do the replay there. Marami po kayo matututunan sa mga previous guests po natin. And sana po, until the next episode of Womoneyty, or Womoneyty Talks, sasabihin ko po sa inyo, I'll be announcing na lang po sa page ko kung kailan yung next natin. Because I will be doing a lot of things sa mga susunod na araw. Naloloka na talaga ako. So,
Yan.
I will be saving the best for the next Womoneyty Talks. That's a promise. Siyempre, this is really something that I really, really love. Talking to a lot of people and connecting with other people with the same interest and sharing whatever it is that we can talk about sa inyong lahat. So, I hope that I will see you next time. Until the next episode of Womoneyty Talks. Bye, guys!
Bye.